Great morning, great morning, great morning. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday morning, time for the It's About You radio show, hosted by me, Mickey D, Maurice McDonald, here on WDRB The Media, the voice of the community. Listen, it's Tuesday morning, every Tuesday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. I have the honor, privilege, and pleasure of hosting this show. I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously. It is an honor for me to be here to share, to inspire, to motivate you to be the very best you can possibly be. And with that said, every single Tuesday morning, I give you the morning motivation from me, Mickey D. And today's quote comes from Benjamin Franklin. It says, "Never confuse motion with action." Wow, that's powerful right there. I teach at the college, and one of my students in the early part of the semester came to me and she said that she had been not coming to school for many years, and she said she was too busy to go to school. Her uncle was telling her that she should go back to school, and she said she was so busy. He said, "I see you being busy doing nothing." He said, "Busy doesn't mean you're productive." Let me say that again. Busy does not mean you're productive. So the question is, are you productive today? So that is your quote of the day, brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. Please go there and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome. All disease begins in the gut. And so go and learn all about that. Listen, today's show is going to be one that I've been thinking about for a while, and I decided it's time for me to go ahead. I've been in the lab, so to speak. And so as many of you know, I have had 3 amazing careers, and if you're just tuning in, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I've been a professional high school counselor, and currently college professor. So, I've been helping and serving people for nearly 4 decades, well, over 4 decades. And one thing I have known that is helping people is what I've been doing. That has been my calling, so to speak, my life's passion. And so I want to take a part of one of those careers that I've had with law enforcement. And as you well know, that many law enforcement officers have handcuffs. And having handcuffs is important if you're wanting to place someone in custody, so to speak, to keep them from moving, to keep them from harming you, to keep them from escaping. There's a way that you have to have handcuffs. And the handcuffs are put behind the back, so to speak. And so I can hear some of you saying, "Hey, where's he going?" Talking about handcuffs. Today, I want to talk about the handcuffs that you put on yourself. Self-imposed handcuffs. Handcuffs that you feel trapped and restrained by your own actions or limitations. Self-imposed. Now, I'm pausing for a reason. Because you find yourself being blocked, and it's called self-blockage. And it's important to talk about this. And what I want to talk about, what is it that we want to define self-blocking? And many of us don't realize that we are holding ourselves back, intentionally or unintentionally, from achieving our goals. Self-blocking. It can affect your careers, your relationships, your personal growth, your financial stability. Oh my goodness. Self-imposed blockage. And many times, as I said, you may not know that you're doing it. You may not understand how I got here. What happened to me? And some of the reasons people block themselves is a lack of confidence, unbelief, past failures or setbacks. There's a litany of reasons why people sometimes block themselves, put handcuffs on themselves. I want you to imagine, visualize that you've placed handcuffs on yourself. You put yourself in the jail cell. You put yourself between the bars. You can see it. You have the key in your hand and you throw the key out. And now you can't reach the keys to get yourself out. Now, Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody here today. You've been blocking yourself. There have been things you've been wanting to accomplish in life. There have been things that you had some goals, you had some dreams, you had some plans. And for whatever reason, every time you start something, you take 2 steps forwards and 5 steps backwards. And you begin to question, am I worthy of it? Let's start right there. It could be a self-esteem issue. It could be unbelief. It could be you're listening to the wrong tribe. It's time to find a new tribe. You listen to people who've told you or reminded you of all your setbacks, all your past failures. And you tell yourself, I can't do it. So every time I may talk that I'm going to go back to school. I may say all the things I'm going to do. Or I may even say, why try? I'm too old. Oh, that's another one. I'm too old. So I put the handcuffs on myself. Self-imposed handcuffs. Self-blocking. And sometimes it is a manifestation of procrastination. Oh my goodness. That's a bad nation to be in. Procrastination. Putting it off. The self-doubt. Overthinking. Man, if you're that kind of person that always has to know the outcome before you even start, you overthink everything. Negative self-talk. Making excuses for why something can't happen. Now, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I know I'm talking to somebody. You should have been in school a long time ago. You had hopes. You had plans. You had dreams. You said by 30, I'd have accomplished this. And you're 40, you haven't started. Because you're overthinking. Self-doubt. Excuses. So, at what point do you plant your flag and tell yourself, I can do this. I shall do this. I must do this. No more excuses. I am somebody that I can do this. I can accomplish great things. I was born for greatness. I'm no longer going to procrastinate. But sometimes that this, handcuff effect, you got the handcuffs on and sometimes you even shackle your feet. And you're doing the bunny hop because you can't move any faster. And so today we want to explore this and talk about why people block themselves, why people handcuff themselves, why they do that. And sometimes those common reasons, as I said earlier, include failure, the fear of success. Fear of success. I have some students in the college that they're about to graduate and they take a leave of absence. And 2 years later, they still haven't graduated. Or afraid of success. Afraid to come out of my comfort zone. You see, your comfort zone is your broke zone. And broke doesn't mean financially all the time. Your comfort zone is designed to hold you back because if you're comfortable, you can't grow. If you're comfortable, you can't learn. If you're comfortable, you get stuck. You have your favorite chair that you sit in. It's called your chair, your blanket. You cover up. You're comfortable at home. And sometimes that comfort zone requires you to stay in that mode, in that mindset, that frame, that belief that I'll do it one day. And sometimes you're in that comfort zone, or sometimes you wear the handcuffs because you are a perfectionist. You got to be perfect. And if you're not perfect, then that means you can't move. And sometimes it's past traumas and insecurities. My background is in counseling. And so I will acknowledge, I'm not being heartless here. I will acknowledge past traumas play a major role. And admitting that there were some traumas that kept you stuck in the past or still stuck there, and some insecurities. So you put handcuffs on yourself. You might even tell yourself, I'm too old, or I'm too young. Nobody, there's never been a woman to do this, or there's never been a man to do this. I don't have the skills. I don't have the training. I don't have this. I don't have the money. I live on the wrong side of the track. I live in the wrong zip code. You can borrow a reason. You can borrow an excuse anytime you want to do when you don't want to do something. So like I said, the first thing I will let you know, if you're dealing with those past traumas, acknowledge them. Get some help from them. Talk to someone who can help you. You know, the Michael Jackson songs talks about the man in the mirror. Or in this case, the man or woman or the person in the mirror. And you have to say some things to yourself and acknowledge that, number one, I'm stuck where I am. And I'm unhappy about it. And many people are stuck where they are because they handcuff themselves with all these other thoughts in their mind. And also sometimes the blockage is a result of limiting beliefs that they were not even fully aware of. If the handcuffs we put on ourselves are holding us back from growth and new experiences, we have to identify the self-blocking behaviors. Identify the self-blocking behaviors. And now, because as you well know, you can't change something you will not acknowledge. You can't change something that you are not ready to change. And my question is that you have to get to a point that you have to make a decision. Because you see, I read once that nothing happens until you get mad. MAD. And that stands for, or that's an acronym for make a decision. When you get mad, make a decision, now you must put action with it. You get mad enough to put action, one foot in front of the other. I remember back in my career, with 12 years to retire from law enforcement, I was facing some situations at work I didn't like. It was situations, there was some, let me be honest with it, there was some racism going on. It was a good old boy network. Law enforcement can be a good old boy network. And I got to a point where the crew I was, my whole supervision was, I felt like I was in South Africa doing apartheid time. It was that bad. And many people would decide to quit. But I said, no, I'm not going to. I made a decision that changed my life. I decided to go back to school to get my master's. And that's driving 2 nights a week, 70 miles one way, 75 miles one way to go to school. And to get my master's degree. See, I made a decision, and that changed my life. But see, I could have stayed stuck. I could have had the handcuffs and say, well, they're holding me back. I don't have a choice. There's one of the courses I teach at the college has a book. And the name of the book is, oh my gosh, I never knew I had a choice. Powerful book. Oh my God. I never knew I had a choice. Which implies you do have a choice. You most certainly have a choice. Now, whether I make the choice is another story, but you do have the choice. And see, I was driving to school and doing those kinds of things I need to do, putting some action, taking the handcuffs off, self-imposed, take the cuffs off, move forward, put action to it. And realize that, listen, there's some growth I have to go through and some new experiences. You see, as long as you keep the handcuffs on, you can't move forward because there's a comfort zone. If you are comfortable, nothing can grow if you are in a comfortable place. So there's a story that I heard the fantastic speaker Les Brown talk about a man walking down the street every day, going to the bus stop to catch the bus, and he would hear these dogs barking, having fun, running around playing, and he'd always hear this one dog howling. Sounded like he was in pain. And after several months of walking by, hearing that dog, and so finally he got the courage to walk to the door and knocked on the door to the person's house. And the gentleman came to the door and he asked them, said, "Excuse me, sir, I don't mean to bother you, but your dog is howling here. I walk by here every day and he's howling and it sounds like he's in pain, and the other dogs are running around barking and playing." And he said, "What's wrong with your dog?" He said, "Well, he's sitting on a nail." And he said, "He's sitting on a nail?" "Yes." "Well, then why doesn't he get off the nail?" And the gentleman said, "Well, I guess he's not hurting bad enough." You see, sometimes you can be in a situation where you're sitting on a nail, a self-imposed nail, you got the handcuffs on, and you stay there because you're not in enough pain. That when you've had enough, that you will make a move, get mad, make a decision, and then act on that decision by stepping out on faith. Let me go ahead and say that. Stepping out and believing that you can do it. Because you may have had some setbacks. And because you had a setback, you stayed in that situation. You see, Willie Jolly has a great book that says, setback is a setup for a comeback. Yes. And so you have to make a decision, identify what you want, make the decision, take the handcuffs off, find the key to the cuffs so you can take them off. And being able to recognize the symptoms. Some common symptoms are frequently doubting yourself. Oh my goodness, I said before. You frequently doubt yourself based upon some failures from the past, based upon the words of somebody in the past that you're no good, you can't make it. As I said before, you're from the wrong side of the tracks. You're not smart like your sister. All the childhood traumas, all the unbeliefs, everything that was there. And so you end up doubting yourself, feeling stuck. And then sometimes you've repeated the same mistakes. Yes, absolutely. Many times you repeat the same mistake. Yeah, I get that. All of those things can be true. But what's that got to do with you standing up mentally first, looking yourself in the mirror, telling yourself, I'm not going down this path anymore. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And now today, this instant, I make a decision to stand up for myself, to believe in myself, to tell myself, I got this. And guess what? There are going to be challenges. Yes, I'm not saying this is an easy cakewalk. Oh, no. But see, in your life, you've been avoiding challenges. You know you've been avoiding challenges. Never avoid challenges. Face it. Whether it's your diet, whether it's your food that you're taking, whatever it is that's holding you back, that's challenging you, face it head on. Shoulders back, head up, eyes open, 10 toes down. Never avoid the challenges because you grow. That's where you come out of your comfort zone. Some of you need to make the decision today to go online and register for that class at school, to get back in school. You're close to graduating, or you're 10 years you've been talking about, I want to go back to school. Now you think you're too old. See, you can always find an excuse. Go online today. Seek out the class you want to take. Seek out the profession you want to get in. Many of you are in jobs right now. You feel stuck. You got the handcuffs on. And here's what you're telling yourself. Where else can I go and make this kind of money? Oh, okay. So the handcuffs, the money is not worth your peace of mind. You're on the job you hate, but yet you're celebrating your 15th anniversary there. Come on. You hate showing up, but you think, where's the money? Where's the money? Listen, peace of mind, you can't put a price tag on that. And those are your handcuffs. I'm going to stay here. And yet you're not doing a good service at the job. As I said before, you hate being there. So You got to go find reposition yourself. You're not starting over. You're repositioning yourself. And so therefore, do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do and get unstuck so you can take those handcuffs off of your mind, your attitude, your movement, and stop making excuses. Excuses are a reason to fail. The late great Dr. Benjamin Mays, president of the Morehouse College, talks about excuses. You can go Google and find some of those quotes he had about excuses and what they are. Because making excuses or even setting overly unrealistic expectations so you can self-sabotage yourself. I'm going to get a 4-year degree in 2 years. Unrealistic expectations. You have sabotaged yourself trying to get it. I have students that they have this deadline. I was having a conversation in my office just last week where a student is trying to take 7 classes and an internship and all these things. And my experience tells me they're going to have a meltdown. They'll have no personal life. The overload. Well, by 30, I was supposed to have this done. And now they're trying to get their master's degree, in social work and go to law school at the same time. 2 different schools. Are you kidding me? That is a setup for failure, because when you don't, now you handcuff yourself. And I said I would have all this by age 30. And I'm to this point now. I'm getting, I was supposed to have this by 35, and now I'm 30, and you're trying to fast track everything else. Eventually, you're going to crash and burn, and then you set yourself up for failure. Self-sabotage, unrealistic expectations. That all these things can cause some real issues. And so I want you to think about this. Don't set yourself up for failure. You have to say the right things about yourself. Talk about the things you like about yourself. You say things like, I'm just not good enough. I don't have the time recently. All these things are designed to hold you back. In your ears, between your ears, is where the handcuffs start. I say handcuffs on the wrist, but really the handcuffs on the mind. So you may have 2 sets or 3 sets. You got the shackles around your feet so you won't move. You got the shackles on your hands so you can't grab a hold of the plow and go forward. You got the shackles on the mind, which controls everything else. So the question is, how do I go through the process and tell myself that I can do this, that I have the ability? It's important to think about that and stop sabotaging myself. I want you to think about it. When they say I'm just not good enough, I don't have the time, and all the negative self-talk. Because there's so many great books out here that you get a hold of to read, and let me go ahead and put this out here too. Counseling. Absolutely. The C word. I know. Oh yes, that's the ugly word. Get the checkup from the neck up. To help you process. Be around some successful people. Get the vision of your goal again. Do a vision board. Take a look at it. What is it that I want? Write down the house I want to live in, or whatever that you may want. What goals am I going to set for myself? Talking about getting those shackles off, and that is so important, to taking off those shackles and taking off the unbelief in your mindset that's just holding you back over and over and over again. Listen, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back to finish up more talking about taking off those handcuffs. We'll be right back.
I've known for a while now that inflammation, brain fog, low energy, and gut issues were all connected. But I honestly didn't realize how much I was out of balance and wasn't firing on all cylinders until I felt what it felt like to actually fire on all cylinders. I love the way I feel, and I genuinely look forward to taking these products every single day.
I love the Healthy Edge pack. It allows me to be more energized throughout the day. My recovery time from the gym is better, and I just feel a sense of well-being and vitality. My sleep is on point. I get restful sleep, because a lot of people sleep but they don't get restful sleep. That combination of P84 and Protandim is a 1-2 lights out punch, guys. I love it.
My hormones were out of whack, my gut health was bad, my sleep was off, my energy was off. A friend reached out to me, talked about a little yellow pill and a couple packs of powder. My health has never been better. My number 2 is great, if you know what I mean, and your number 2 does not lie on how your gut health is. These little packets of powder and this one little yellow pill has completely changed my health.
After introducing the Healthy Edge stack, something clicked. I'm sleeping soundly now. Restful nights, waking up refreshed, feeling renewed, digestion regularity. It feels amazing. And if you're listening, here's what I know for sure. Small, consistent choices compound into a life you're excited to live.
If you want to learn more about the Healthy Edge Stack, simply go to mauricemcdonald.net, MauricemCDonald, and learn about that Healthy Edge Stack. Do it today. We're back, guys. Listen, today we're talking about taking off the handcuffs, the self-imposed handcuffs that's keeping you from your destiny. And we left off talking about the role of what you say to yourself, your self-talk, and believing in yourself, looking yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, I got this, I can do this. I said, you can go to counseling. I said, talk to someone. If you have a spiritual leader, spiritual guy, listen, I highly recommend you read the positive books. It's going to help you, any of the stuff that's out here. But let's talk about the role of self-talk. The emphasis of that self-talk can reinforce our mental handcuffs. Man, if you tell yourself I can't make it, you are absolutely right. You can't make it. I hear people who play the lottery and they'll buy a lottery ticket, go out here and spend $100 a week buying lottery tickets or more. And they say things like, I know I ain't going to win. I've heard that so many times. And I want to say, give me that $100, please. Because if you already coming out saying, I know I'm not going to win, then why are you playing? Because it's the mental picture. Emphasizing that self-talk. You got to reinforce, because that negative talk will reinforce the mental handcuffs. It sets limits on your potential by reinforcing the belief that you can't or should not even go after your goals. Don't even set any goals. Are you kidding me? People who coach basketball or football or some sports, the coach hears one player saying, I know we're going to lose. I promise you, they will be sitting on the bench. I promise you, practice is going to be so difficult for them. They will be running bleachers. They will be running extra miles. They will not get in the game. The coach may kick them off the team simply because they don't want that cancer to spread. They don't want that negative attitude to spread to other players. And let's put it that way. Negative self-talk and putting handcuffs on is contagious. You don't believe me? Hang around negative people. Hang around negative people who speak negatively. Guess what's going to be coming out of your mouth eventually? Garbage. Your belief went out the window. So therefore, negative self-talk just reinforces that you can't do it. So you got to change your language. Biblically, they say death and life is in the power of the tongue. Yeah. So what comes out of your mouth will produce your actions. And first and foremost, you cannot control what you say until you control what you think. See, your thought process, your belief system. I don't deserve handcuffs. I will not put handcuffs on. I will stop blocking my blessings. I will get out of my way. I will stop blaming other people for what I'm doing. I will stop saying I don't have a choice. I will stop. See, not I'm thinking about it. I'm going to try. And let me get this out. Let me go ahead and put this out here right now. I'm planting a flag of declaration on this principle right here. There's one word that never should be in the dictionary. You have to get this out of your vocabulary. 3 letters. Try. I'll try. No, take that out of your vocabulary right now. Because if you say I'll try, you're setting yourself up not to do it. I will, if you change that. I will change it. I will change my mindset. The only thing, and I tell people this all the time, when you're driving a car, those of you that have a car, remember, your windshield is larger than your rearview mirrors. If you drive your car looking in the rearview mirrors, I don't want to be in the car with you. You're going to crash. The rearview mirror is only designed for you to take a quick glance. A glance as you change lane. A glance as of what you did in the past. A glance at maybe some things you overcame. If you focus on the windshield and put action to it and move forward, you can make it. But the moment you keep looking at your past mistakes, what grandmama said with the 3rd grade teacher, let me just break this down right now. My 3rd grade teacher said I was not college material. Come on. I'm going to be very transparent now. This was during the Civil Rights Movement, 1966. Yeah. And so integration, 3rd grader going to an all-white school first year. That experience was traumatic for me. And the teacher said I was not college material, and I didn't know what material meant because my grandmother used to buy material to make clothes. She would buy the material. I always hear her say that and take it to somebody's house and make a dress for her. So I knew the word material meant by making clothes. And so when she said I wasn't college material, my 8-year-old mind, I was confused. So I asked Grandma, what did material mean? And Grandma said, she says, boy, what are you talking about? Speak in complete sentences. Tell me. So I told her what she said, and Grandma got upset. And we were washing dishes at the sink, and she dropped the glass and broke the glass in the sink. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm in trouble. Grandma's crying. And she was telling me, she says you're not, she thinks you're stupid. She thinks you're not as good as they are. And she said, you're going to get your lesson out. You're going to do those things. And so she went in on me and told me that you just as good. You're going to be somebody, boy. And so from that day on, I was grinding. I wanted to prove, because I started getting in trouble because she quit calling on me, and I kept raising my hand, wanting to answer the question, trying to prove to her that I am smart. And so then she sent me to the office and those kind of things. Principal's office got paddled back in those days. And so therefore, I began trying to prove to her, and I won't call her name. She's dead and gone. I'm not going to be crazy. I'm not going to do that. But one thing I do know, I read her obituary when she passed away. She said she had a love for children, and she had a love for some children. And my whole point to bringing this up is what she thought of me and what she said of me had nothing to do with my success. My grandmother said, you gonna prove it. So for the rest of my life, every instructor I had, I thought about that teacher. And I decided I will not put handcuffs on me. I will not. I can do it. I shall do it. I must do it. And I did it. Using systems. And systems means save yourself time, energy, and money. And locked in and found a way to get the education and do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. Listen, I grind all my life and still am grinding because number one, handcuffs don't belong on me. My mind, my feet, my wrist, and handcuffs don't belong on me. So you got to tell yourself handcuffs don't belong on you. So by the way, I have 3 college degrees, and that's nothing to brag about. I'm just letting you, being honest with you. And every time I graduated, I thought of that teacher, that 3rd grade teacher. So when I crossed the stage for my bachelor's degree, I thought about that teacher. When I crossed the stage for the associate's degree, first, I'll go there. I thought about her. When I crossed the stage with my master's degree, when I crossed my stage, getting all the certifications and those kind of things, I'm going back for higher education, I thought of her. And now with me being a college professor now, as I listen to me, and I think about it all the time, and I use this in my classroom. You see, what people say about you has nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. That's their business. You don't allow that to put chains on your mind. And then you start having negative self-talk. You have to make some changes. Your inner dialogue has to be different. What are you telling yourself when you face or you encounter challenges? Identify these thoughts is the first step to unblocking. The first step to taking those chains off you. Identify the thoughts. That is a step, because see, that's going to be the key to you getting the cuffs off. Strategies to unblock yourself is important. You got to stop having that unlimiting, or that, should I say, that limited belief. Limited belief that because I'm black, because I'm male, because I'm female, because I was born in the South, because I'm tall, whatever, because I have a disability, because my sexual orientation is different, because I'm a Baptist, because I'm a Catholic, I don't care. Listen, you start right there. That person, you look in the mirror, should I say, and discuss that negative belief. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, you got to say, what's stopping me? What's stopping me? I can do this. And again, going biblically again, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, especially people of faith. Because I'm tired of hearing people of faith, faith when it's convenient. No, you got to say in the midst of turmoil, in the midst of your unbelief, in the midst of your handcuffs on yourself, you got to decide, wait a minute, I got a higher power. I can do this. I'm going to do this. I must do this. Nothing's going to stop me. Your thoughts, your negative words, Dr. Maya Angelou, and still I rise. You know the story. And when you get that in your mindset, what's stopping me, nothing will be stopping you. You see, the handcuffs on the ears, handcuff on the mind. And you got to tell yourself, in the midst of the struggle, and by the way, let me go ahead and put this right here, right now, because I can hear somebody saying, oh, that's easy for you to say. You don't know what I'm going through. Guess what? Everybody's going through something. If you're in a tunnel, leaving a tunnel, or headed to a tunnel, we all go through it. But the moment you decide that, you know what, ain't no stopping me now. I'm going to do this. I can't stop. That song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. That's why that's my theme song, girl. Guys, listen to me. That is it. That's what my show opens up and closes with, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Because guess what? Everybody's had some setbacks. Everybody's been through something. And the trauma is real. I'm not dismissing and saying that the trauma is not real, because the struggle is real. It most certainly is. Your situation is real. I'm not saying it's not. But I'm telling you to take the handcuffs off your mind. Take the handcuffs off your feet. Take the handcuffs off your hands. And then take the blindfold off. Take the blindfold off, because you've been handcuffing yourself, blindfolding yourself, dealing with all these issues. You're struggling from the divorce. Yes, it happened. It was ugly. You're struggling from the mental depression. You're struggling from the mental illness. That it's real. Your children are in prison. Yes, it's real. You just got out of prison. Yes, that's real. Whatever it is. Yes, he cheated on you. Yes, she cheated on you. Yes, all that is real. But for you to hold yourself back, for you to handcuff yourself and stay stagnant when you don't want to be stagnant, or you've gotten to the point now you've accepted that's your plight. No, Don't accept that. It's not worth it. You may say things, I want to encourage you all to use some counter evidence, should I say. Change the words, should I say, to your limited beliefs. Say things like, stop saying things like, I'm not good with money. And look for small wins to be successful. Then if you're not good with money, then go find ways to people who are good with money. Learn what you can do. And by the way, many people get in trouble with that. Because I'm stuck, because I'm feeling bad, because I'm got these handcuffs on me, I want retail therapy. I'm going to go buy me a new car. I feel bad. I'm going to go. And then you get in financial ruins because you, again, go to counseling to help you with the process. So you're going to hear that constant theme from me today to help you get those cuffs off. Go to counseling. And by the way, if you are of the belief that counseling is no good, that is wrong. That is wrong. Counseling is one of the greatest things you can ever do. People say time heals all wounds. And guess what? Time and some therapy. Come on. Yeah, it can. You got to get that part to help you get unstuck, to help you learn to take the cuffs off you. And if you don't know you have cuffs on you and you're blaming other people for your situation, you're blaming other people because it's not fair. It's not fair. Listen to me. Listen. In most places, the fair comes in October. They got cotton candy and pony rides, okay? Take the word fair out of your vocabulary. Change your words. Change your thoughts, change your words, change your actions. That you are good enough. I may not be good with money now, but I'm going to get better because I'm going to seek some help with this. See your small wins. Listen, you got to see little wins before you see the big victory. Being successful about something. That is important. Setting some realistic and incremental goals is important. You gotta set realistic goals with yourself. Don't try to, I need to lose weight and the reason I can't do anything is my weight. Okay, let me tell you something. You put the pounds on one at a time. But it's a mindset. By the way, that comfort zone, including the food we put in our mouth, that's called comfort food. No, that's trap food. Food is not comfortable, but so you gotta have a mindset to want to change. I want to lose some weight. I want to do whatever it is that you're stuck with. It starts in the mindset. You got to prepare. Some of you heard this before. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Because preparing for everything, prepping, preparing for success, preparing for the comeback, preparing to get the handcuffs off. What do I need to do to get the handcuffs off of me? Number one, handcuffs there's a key. So you got to find the key. And those who have a higher power, there's your key right there. Start right there. Connecting with positive people. Stop hanging around people that, listen, I've also heard that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. You hang around 5 broke people. Guess who number 6 is? You hang around 5 negative people. Guess who number 6 is? Yes. And so changing that mindset and finding the new sources, new people, the people that's going to lift you up and encourage you to not put the handcuffs back on. I don't care what age you are. Positive people, being around them, hang around them long enough. Pretty soon, your language is going to change. Why? Because your mindset changed. There's nothing greater for me to watch a 65 or 70-year-old go across the stage graduating. When they tell that story of 30 years ago when they dropped out of school and life happened, they raised their children, and now they are over 50 years of age and crossing the stage because why? Because they wanted to. Because they said, and they came in and couldn't use the computer, had struggles making a PowerPoint, had struggles with everything. And I connect them with other people to help them and show them the path. And now I'm watching them doing all the great work and getting their bachelor's and master's degrees because they chose to. And they came in with negative self-talk. Now they're mentoring other people. Oh, I've had so many stories of like that. Watching people change. So the thing of it is, the moment you tell yourself that I'm going to take these cuffs off and I'm going to put some new actions in, I'm going to have a whole new perspective. I'm going to win. Why? Because I can. Because I want to. That is truly amazing. And that is what you have to do. It starts between the ears. And you have to avoid all that, all or nothing mindset. You got to have some realistic goals, as I said before. All or nothing. No. Break down the goals into small, achievable steps. I tell people all the time, listen to me. If you want to eat pizza, a slice of pizza, that's the key word. You got to put it in a slice. You cannot have the whole pizza and try to eat it, pick it up and put it in your mouth. Unrealistic. But if you get the pizza cutter and you cut it into individual slices and smaller slices, you can eat it then. So your goals are the same way. Whatever the goal is, I'm going to change it. Small steps till you see a little bit of progress without feeling overwhelmed or pressure. Maybe one class at a time you may take, or one situation that you put yourself in. Start going to places where positive people are, sitting and listening to them, going to seminars, going to workshops, reading the great lot of great motivational self-help books, podcasts you watch. You know, I always tell people all the time, if you really want to take this, look up Jim Rohn, go to YouTube. I call it go to YouTube University because it's right there. Jim Rohn, Jim, last name is Rohn. Anything by him, Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. I encourage everybody, watch The Strangest Secret go to YouTube. The Strangest Secret in the World. Watch it. Listen to it over and over again. Oh my gosh. That piece, I have my students look at that. And Jim Rohn, learn these skills or live a mediocre life. Talks about goals, setting goals, talks about your mindset. All of it is so powerful to help you grow and learn to take the cuffs off yourself. Because if you can't take the cuffs off, guess what happens? You start to see yourself as a failure over and over again. That's just how I am. And the more people you hang around. By the way, here's another way that you put handcuffs on yourself. Stop telling your goals. Stop talking to people that don't support you. Stop telling them what you're going to do. You put it in the atmosphere in the wrong place. They don't talk to you. They don't encourage you. And you start talking about what you're going to do. And who going to hire you? Why do you think? And they start shooting your dreams down. Because you keep talking. How about less talking and more walking? You walk into your greatness. You set up your greatness. You go back to school in silence. Work in silence. Be like a stealth bomber. They can't see you, but you're busy. And you're productive. You are so productive and doing and chasing your goals. That's where it starts. What you tell yourself. Stop being so negative on yourself. And realizing, let's talk about the secret nobody's talking about. Failure. Success is not a straight line. Embrace failure. Embrace failure. Every successful company failed in the beginning. Amazon was not a success overnight. Walmart was not a success overnight. Any multi-billion-dollar company struggled. And it looked like they weren't going to make it. But guess what? You must embrace the failure. Admit to yourself you've handcuffed yourself. That's the first thing. Admit it. I've been walking around with cuffs on myself, blaming everybody else. And that man mentioned that book, talk about I never knew I had a choice. You do have a choice. Now, I'm not advocating anybody break up a marriage. I'm not advocating that at all. I will not say that. You didn't hear me say that. But you've been in a toxic relationship 50 years. Come on. You've been in an unproductive relationship for 20 years. You've been beaten. You've been called all out of your name. You've been cheated on. You've been everything else. And you're saying, I can't leave. I can't leave because I know whatever, because what my mama going to think and what the Bible going to think. Listen, if you're a victim of DV, listen, that won't get better. Well, I'm just going to pray for him. I'm going to stay. Listen, you're worth more than that. You know, you can love people from a distance. There's a time you have to give people the gift of goodbye. Yeah, that's the greatest gift you can give to people sometimes. And the people with the negative energy that's blocking you, don't put your own handcuffs on by staying in something that's crazy for you, that's really unproductive, something that's really threatening for your life and children. I don't know why that came up. Somebody needed to hear that, I guess. But realizing that you have to embrace the failure. That marriage wasn't good doesn't mean that your next one won't be. Or the idea that you can do well by yourself. People always say do bad by yourself. No. I don't put bad. You do well by yourself. You can do this. I've seen women overcome some struggles. I've seen men overcome some struggles. That part is so true. And therefore, you must always prepare yourself to make it, and that you can do it. And you think about this. You have to have some stepping stones. Failure isn't a stop sign. It's not. It's a stepping stone to grow. You have to learn from the setbacks, the temporary setbacks. You know, and then also, you got to ask yourself this question. What did I learn from this? How can I help use this to help me move forward? Because see, the past, so many people get stuck. They get stuck in the past. What mama said, what grandma said. My mama treated my sister better than me. And maybe she did. My point is, you can't dwell on that and stay stuck on that. Or this didn't happen to me. They didn't like me because I was black. Guess what? It's okay. It's okay. Where am I going from here? What am I going to learn from this? Am I going to use this as a sounding board, a launching point for me to go to my greatness? Or am I going to stay shackled? You know, they said that Harriet Tubman freed a lot of slaves, but she said she could have freed a lot more if they recognized they were slaves. Are you recognizing that you've become a slave to yourself, that you've shackled yourself with your unbelief, with your doubt, with your pity, with your, failure to move forward, that you're stuck? Opportunities are right in front of you, but you won't move. As a matter of fact, opportunities never go away. They just go to the next person. And that is key. When you got to go in and do some work on yourself, some urban renewal, so to speak, on your mindset to change your belief system. Are you a negative mindset versus a positive mindset? Because if you keep whatever seed you plant is going to grow. That's fact. You know, I can't plant, apple tree and expect a pear. I have to change my mindset, my belief system, and change my words. There's a great book, a little paperback book. It's a very old book, but it's been around a long time, maybe 30 pages, if that. A little small book, and it's called Hung by the Tongue. It's a Christian book, but it's a very good book, and Hung by the Tongue, because so many things, and it talks about all the different scriptures where it talks about what people say. You know, and how many times have you heard people give someone a compliment and then they turn around and bring it for destruction? You have a nice car, or you have something that nice, or you're wearing something nice. Somebody says, oh, look at that car. Oh, I know who got the money. And you turn right around. No, I'm just as broke as I can be. I'm not poor. I'm P-O. I can't afford O-R. All the negativity that comes out of your mouth, you put in the atmosphere. So change your mindset, change the words that come out of your mouth, and ask yourself, what did I learn from this setback? How can I move forward? What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to plant a new seed of negativity? And then you pass it on to your children. And then they grow up with handcuffs around their wrists and around their mindsets. Failure will come. But what did I learn from it? Where can I go with it? Then you also have to practice some self-compassion. Give yourself some grace. Stop looking for perfection. It is important that that you highlight the power of self-compassion. Stop beating up on yourself. Be kind to yourself as you would a friend. Perfection isn't the goal. Let me repeat that. Perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. Man, I need to put that on a t-shirt, I think. Listen, perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. Am I moving from step to step? Am I just stepping one step at a time, getting better? Am I having that self-compassion that keeps me motivated, keeps me going? Is it keeping me on the right track? And am I associating with the right people who speak the same way I do? One of the great things that people in the substance abuse world, one of the key factors for them changing their life is their mindset around drinking, their mindset about their drug or whatever it may be. And one of the things they always say, because we teach it at the college, that's kind of the area that I'm in, is that we say new faces and new places. You can't hang with the same people and get new results. New faces and new places, new mindset. So it kind of goes here too, to get the shackles off. Because what good would it be for you to get the shackles off, but you're going to hang with the bad people who still got shackles on? You can't do that. It is a situation where you have to make some changes in your life. And also that self-compassion helps you to motivate yourself, help you to get up, make a plan, and make it easy for you to dust yourself off and try again and maintain momentum and staying unblocked and creating accountability. You got to have some accountability for yourself and to help you to do this and go. Celebrate your wins, the small ones. Celebrate them. Encourage yourself. Stay mindful and reflectful of it. And continue to tell yourself, I can make it. The journey to being unblocked yourself means you must encourage yourself, expect new results, keep pushing. And the final takeaway for the day is shifting your mindset to be resilient because you can win. Hey, this is our time for the day, guys. I hope you got something out of this. This has been the It's About You radio show on WDRB, the media, the voice of the community. We'll be back next week, Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Go out and have a great day and a great week.